What is the dumbest thing anybody has ever seriously said to you? Excitedly told me that a stripper he bought a lap dance from liked him so much that she asked him to come back again to see her. A buddy of mine is like this with bartenders servers. We go to the same bar pretty frequently and he's convinced that the bartenders there are attracted to him. He doesn't understand that the reason that they come over and talk to him is because he always tips them a minimum of $20 each night. Normally it's more. Is this all the bleach we have? This was said by my sister, who was holding a gallon of bleach in each hand. Her plan? She was going to fill the bathtub up with bleach and bathe in it because she wanted to bleach her hair blonde. While watching The Mummy 2, these mummies are chasing a bus through London. My mom asks, they didn't use real mummies, did they? Tell her they couldn't because we ate them all. Had a roommate in college that would drive me everywhere cause she had a car and I didn't. The first time I got on the highway with her, she got on the left lane and floored it. We were going 90 plus on a 60. I freaked out and asked her why the heck she was going so fast. She said, "What's the big deal? There's no speed limit on the left lane on a highway. You can go as fast as you want." She refused to slow down till we had to take our exit. We had a long argument on why that wasn't true that involved calling several people and googling things to prove it to her. TBF, I legit asked how much higher is the speed limit in the left lane and driver's ed because universally everyone ignores the speed limit there. Facebook post. Dude, Ashton Kutcher totally looks like the guy from that 70s show. That is Ashton Kutcher. What? How? He would have only been a baby in the 70s. A loved one recommended putting whiskey in my baby's bottle to help with teething. Not rub her gums with it. Bad idea anyway, but straight put the whiskey in her bottle. Look lady, the alcoholism runs deep in this family. I'm not about to get her started in her first year of life. There's whiskey in the baby's jar. While driving with my sister's then boyfriend to go disc golfing, he was staring up in the sky very intensely. I asked him what he was doing and he replied, "Just doing my part for the environment." Confused, I inquired further. He then went on to say how chemtrails from planes are spreading chemicals, but if you stare at the chemtrails, you can use your willpower to get rid of them. He was bat crap crazy, lizardman crazy. This is probably the most wholesome story involving someone who believes in chemtrails we'll ever hear. After having just boarded a train from Budapest to Vienna, a woman approached me and asked in haltingly slow English, "Does this train go to Vienna?" I answered yes, and that I was also going there myself. Her response, "You speak English very good. Where are you from?" To which I answered that I was from Canada. She then said, "I am from Florida. Do you know where that is?" That one hurts. Had a friend that didn't realize dogs were the result of selective breeding. She thought all dog species existed in nature somewhere. The thought of packs of pugs hunting for food in the forest still makes me chuckle. Fun fact, the reason many tiny yapping dogs come from China is that they were designed to be portable alarms. They bark at strangers, so this would alarm palace guards of intruders. They were deployed in the hundreds in the palace walls. Imagine being an assassin and being swarmed by 50 plus Shih Tzus and pugs. Something out of The Mummy with the Beatles. My friend, when she was 18, we used to have baby chicks and then we had chickens. I don't know what happened to the baby chicks. I thought nurses only flirted with doctors and was there to look pretty. 19-year-old classmate back in high school, who was very disappointed after shadowing a nurse for career day. TBH, a lot of nurses end up being a doc's second wife. Source, I'm a doc. Not married to nurse though. When talking about my relatives that died in the Holocaust, my friend said, "Man, that sucks. Did you at least know them? I was born long after World War II. Kind of like when my kids ask me if I have ever seen a dinosaur." Turkey is vegan. Random lady stating that she's vegan and then proceeding to order a club sandwich. I was the waiter. Guy, you have the most beautiful green eyes. Me, my eyes are blue. Guy, crap. I couldn't remember if they were green or blue, so I guessed. Me, I'm standing right in front of you. You were looking right at my face when you said that. Why didn't you just look at my eyes to see what color they are? Guy, I didn't think of that. Was this Elton John? My husband is Colombian and he was speaking in Spanish to a co-worker from Puerto Rico. Another co-worker overheard them and was flabbergasted that they spoke the same language. She asked where my husband had learned to speak Puerto Rican. This was a 40-year-old woman with a high school diploma and access to the internet. I honestly thought she was kidding at first, but sadly she wasn't. Why do we have to turn the printer on for it to work? My 45-year-old coworker, closely followed by intense, life-altering revelation tone. If you were paid more, you'd have more money. My mum. LMAO. I've worked with a few coworkers over the years. Thank you for the new term. P. I'm going to fall on my sword for this one. I once very confidently told a room full of women I worked with that X must be mistaken because women don't have a colon. Prostates. I got them confused. Luckily, we were all on really good terms, so I just got laughed at for a few months. Women wear perfume, only men wear colon S. Don't they speak Russian in Brazil? Because Russia and Brazil are right next to each other? Close runner-up. What came first, World War I or World War II? Clearly that second one was a dedicated Star Wars fan. IVV6I23. I was talking about how I was getting a birth control implant in a few weeks and someone asked if I was scared of getting stuck up my butt. Had to clarify with him that birth control implants don't go up the butt. In fact, when things go up the butt, you don't even need birth control. I was waiting at the DMV, and my baby was asleep in his carrier on the floor. Some totally normal looking middle-aged guy in a suit leaned over and smiled at him, then said, "How cute. Are his eyes open yet?" Dude literally thought humans were like puppies or kittens. LOL, I would have said no, but his tail is growing nicely. The last time I spoke to my mother I was in the process of designing a desalination plant to take salt from seawater to make it drinkable. My mother always felt the need to find all the negative things in everything I did. She said it was a stupid idea to pursue as it would take the water away from the fish and cause more harm than good. Been over a year now. Dumb bee. All the fish are dead. I hope you're happy. An old school friend refused to breastfeed or formula feed their baby. They gave the baby milkshakes instead, because your no milk is milk. Also my mother told me, in all seriousness, that we have belly buttons because that's where our tails used to be. I bet stupidity is the leading cause of childhood malnutrition. From the world's dumbest boss, while scribbling a co-worker's birthday card with an inane message about the children's rhyme Old MacDonald. How do you spell E-I-E-I-O? Are we sure it wasn't originally E-E-I-E-I-O? My sister-in-law was afraid to drive up hills because she was afraid if her car didn't make it up, it would flip over backwards. My mom has this phobia. Trips to San Francisco were ridiculous. Used to work with a guy who can't understand what 50% meant. Like, it's half dude, just divide by 2 in the calculator. My 17-year-old friend told me she didn't swallow after blowing her BFBC. She wasn't on the pill and he hated wearing condoms. I was confused and asked what she meant. She looked at me like I was stupid and said she didn't swallow BC. That's how you get pregnant. By swallowing after a BJ. I had to explain to her that she was, in fact, not correct. That's Texan abstinence only sex education for ya. It's true if you are a Corydoras catfish. After my dad has emergency dialysis a few months ago, he passed shortly after, and I was the only person with him at the surgery hospital because of COVID restrictions and generally handling things. My uncle called me and said don't count your chickens before they've hatched, in reference to my dad having a good day, and now I know why daughters don't get married, so they can look after their dads. I put the phone down and cried bitterly with my mother because I didn't want my dad to see me cry. While eating out, we asked our server to bring us some ice and he asked if we wanted real ice. He wasn't trying to be funny and looked confused when we asked what other kind of ice there is. You would have got a real surprise if he brought you a bag of MAKA ice. My uncle married a woman who already had kids, so I guess they were my cousins. Marriage didn't last long. Boy oh boy were they dumb as frick. One came and stayed with us for a week or so and had never been to my city before. She was an idiot. 2 quotes stand out. 1. She thought lions were fairy tale creatures. 2. While on the train an Indian couple came and sat across from us. She leans over and whispers so loudly, "Those terrorists are going to kill us." I don't think I have ever been more embarrassed in my life. If you see something, say something. A friend owns a bakery and I was helping her out during the busy holiday season. I was at the counter cashing out orders and assisting customers place orders and purchase ready-made pastries. One lady needed a birthday cake. I showed her the case cakes we had available and the one she chose had cake crumbs coating the sides. She wanted happy birthday written on the side of the cake, on the crumbs. I told her the writing would not stick to the crumbs or the crumbs and icing would fall off together. She looked at me and said, "Well, I could do it if I knew how." I waited a beat and responded, "Well, I could do brain surgery if I knew how." So, I guess we're in the same boat. She got my point and opted to have happy birthday written on ribbon and laid across the top of the cake. What kind of cake request is that, LMAO? I've never heard of that before. Stereotypical blonde popular girl raised her hand in science class, 10th grade, and asked the teacher how did Mother Nature know what the president's faces looked like to naturally form Mount Rushmore. Teacher had to leave the room for a moment to compose himself before explaining it was man-made. Crazy how nature do that. I once had a black man tell me, a white woman, that black women's periods are literally just a single drop of blood, which is why it's called a period. I was literally speechless. Oh god, do I wish so. My co-worker explaining the taste and texture of a certain food. To this day I have forgotten what food he was trying to explain, but he said, "It's like a fig Newton but without the fig and without a Newton." Totally straight-faced and serious. Years ago, my wife, her sister's daughter, and I were walking down the street on a summer's day and we stopped in a frozen yogurt place. Everyone ordered one. My wife sampled hers and asked me if it was bad. I took a lick and it was definitely spoiled. I demanded my money back. The kid behind the counter refused to refund me. I said the yogurt was bad and I wasn't going to pay for bad product. Then the idiot says to me, "Well, if it was bad, you shouldn't have eaten it." WTF? I replied, "How the heck are you supposed to know it's bad if you don't eat any?" I got my money back. I took a DVD back to Walmart because in the middle it stopped playing. They said, "But you opened it." How the frick can I find out it doesn't work without opening it? While watching Big Fish, after a character is turned into a fish, my sister's boyfriend turned to me and asked if the movie was based on a true story. Daycare nurse, the sun and the moon can't be up at the same time. I'm looking at the moon in the sky, during the day, behind her. Teaching my students about graphing relationships using a story about my real life experience of skydiving. I told the whole story including the chute opening and peacefully gliding back to the earth. Student raises his hand and as serious as can be asks, "Did you die?" I work at a vet clinic. Owner, my dog has a bunch of ticks on his belly. Lift dog up to show off his abdomen that is full of scabs. Me, Mom, those are not ticks. Those are his nipples. Owner, those aren't his nipples. Male dogs don't have nipples. To sum it up, this lady ripped off this poor dog's nipples because she genuinely thought that male dogs do not have any. It took, sadly, quite a bit of time to inform her that male dogs do in fact have nipples. Peeing after sex will prevent pregnancy. Also, there is no such thing as bisexual people. These statements both came from the same dude, by the way. Honestly, it's crazy how people can be this stupid. My older cousin told me to have the guy put cold water inside me afterward and I couldn't get pregnant. She had twins at 16. Thank God I actually paid attention in sex ed. After hearing about bestiality, a girl at work was confused as to why she hadn't seen any horse babies. Her word, walking around. A 22-year girl at work, whom I'm not close to at all, asked me if I would co-sign on a 4BD 3-bar house for her to live in with her 10-month-old baby. I'm going through a divorce and live in a 2BD house with my boyfriend and our 3 kids. I once began a story of a bad car accident I had with the line, "So a few months ago I flipped my car, and this girl, Honestly very sweet and with sincere shock and concern, replied, "Oh my god, were you inside?" I then decided to change the story and falsely explained that I wasn't inside the car, but had been very angry and flipped it with my bare hands like the Incredible Hulk. Not to me, but my dad told me about this old buddy of his. They were watching the Olympics and the camera showed a shot of the moon and my dad's friend asked him, "Hey, Kevin, do you think that's the same moon we have?" Dude was apparently serious but very drunk, as he always was. My friend's sister said, with a straight face, the movie Monsters Inc. is tied to her PR file ring. Apparently something about the screams of children are pleasing to Hollywood elites and Democrats. She really believes this stuff and posts about it on TikTok like it's fact. And I love how her kids can't watch a cartoon because she thinks it has subliminal messaging that will turn them into perverts, but they live on Mountain Dew and MC Donald's cheeseburgers. When I was a river raft guide we'd get some dumb questions, but my favorite was, "Are we going to get off the river here at the same spot we're putting in?" No, we're not. Or sometimes yes we will if they were from Ohio. Oh, I remember the people who thought actual freaking rivers were fake like a lazy river. No, Linda, the massive butt river in the gorge surrounded my mountains is not fake. Is Hawaii a continent and there are only 3 continents? Both said by my friend who I got into a Discord call with to teach them that there are 7 and a possible new continent. My computer nearly killed itself for my friend's stupidity. The Americas, Eurasia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica makes 4 minimum, if you go purely by adjoining land masses. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.